About that. Does that work for you?
That works.
No, it's not an audition. We're actually doing this live.
Oh.
And if you do well, we'll have you back every Wednesday.
Well, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. I hope I bomb.
Cam Burning House on Kicks 105.5. Good morning. It is 10 till 8 o'clock. And as we do, we have good policies with Mike Barrett from Barrett Insurance Agency in downtown St. Johnsbury joining us. And speaking of Burning House by Cam, if you have a house,
segue.
if you have a house that burns down and you're covered it with your insurance group, how long does it take to recoup losses? Is that like you'll put me up in a hotel overnight?
Yeah. Some of the claims expenses, some of the claim payments are somewhat immediate, such as loss of use and things like that, because you do need a place. You know, not everybody has the luxury of most of us here in the kingdom of having family where we can just go hang out and at least temporarily live with them. But let's be honest, do you really want to long-term live with your parents or your brother or sister or cousins?
The in-laws.
So there is often times where you need to be put up in another location, and of course cost is associated with that. Not many people realize this, but if you look at your homeowner policy, and this is just always a great exercise, I know a lot of people are going to pull out their homeowner policy later and do this because it's just so exciting. But you have coverage A, B, C, and D. D is the one we're talking about, that loss of use coverage. Okay. And it's the limit that gets put there in most companies is between 20 and 40% of whatever the dwelling limit is. So if the dwelling limit's 100,000, you've got up to 20,000 to stay elsewhere temporarily.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And then the process itself is a fairly long-term process with recovering the loss. You know, the question becomes, are you going to rebuild your home, or are you going to do something a little smaller, or are you going to walk away from the property and just clean it up? There's so many ways for a loss settlement to be handled that there's some time associated with that.
Well, in my mind, I'm thinking, am I at the Lindbergh or am I at the Comfort Inn and Suites?
Actually, believe it or not, I've yet to find a company that says you're only allowed to stay at this level of living.
Okay.
I've had people rent condos while they're out. I mean, let's remember, you have up to that limit. Of course, they're not going to say, go stay at the Mount Washington, get the presidential suite, and have a ball. You know, make sure you get the room service.
That would be me. Yeah, that would be me.
Yeah. So there are many ways to get around that. Some total house fire settlements can take a year or more to settle, but it's dependent on the process because there's so much more than just check writing from the company. It's getting contractors, it's getting estimates, it's working on design, it's starting to recoup your loss.
Is there a sheet that says, okay, a Blu-ray player nowadays is worth $20, a shirt is worth $5?
I'm not aware of such a sheet other than the World Wide Web.
Okay.
You know, I think they really just go with what's necessary. And that's another actually very interesting component.
Because I can say I'm very attached to my Blu-ray player. I think it's worth $500.
And they'll say, good luck.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm asking.
But you're leading me to a great example. So say you have a Blu-ray player and something happens, you have a loss, and now you go, I mean, I don't know if the 4K technology has hit Blu-ray yet or has hit DVD players, but 4K technology is, of course, that ultra-high definition. So there's obviously more value there, more cost involved. So if you want to better yourself, you're on the line for the difference. But if you had a regular Blu-ray DVD player, they will buy you a regular Blu-ray DVD player. And the great example that I always give is, let's talk about your kitchen table. Maybe it's the kitchen table you sat at as a child. Maybe it's a kitchen table that was on the side of the road with a free sign. Maybe you got it at a rummage sale. It doesn't matter how you got it. If you had a kitchen table, you get a kitchen table. You go to a furniture store and get a kitchen table. The insurance company's not going to hop in the car with you and go, let's see if there's any more on the side of the road.
No, that's not a wood one like I had.
It's a replacement cost policy. A great example as well as a couch or a chair. If you have an 8-foot couch, you're getting a new 8-foot couch. It's replacement cost in almost every policy. Some policies do not have it. Very few, especially if they've been written within the past 5 years. Most people make sure they're just included. But that's something to bear in mind as well.
Since taking over from your father at the Barrett Insurance Agency, have you seen much, and I'm playing devil's advocate, fraud? Have you seen a lot of fraud over the years? Some.
I don't know if I would call it totally fraud. I would call it questionable. I would call it
people thinking like I do, like, yeah, well, I lost it, now I should upgrade.
Going to pay for it.
Yeah.
I have seen people better themselves in many cases. I'll call it that. They've bettered themselves. And let's remember that an insurance policy is meant to indemnify. It's meant to right the wrong, bring you back to whole, not necessarily to better yourself. I'll give you a great example, though, of one that, it seems like somebody's getting more than they should, but it's really hey, dude, stop.
This is not your radio show.
You don't talk during this segment. We'll pay for that. But, I was in Missouri. I was in Cape Girardeau, Missouri for a week. My brother-in-law's house was just pelted by a major hailstorm. And he lost part of his, damage to his roof, damage to his vinyl siding. Well, guess what? He got a new roof and he got new vinyl siding around the whole house. Because you got to remember, there's different things that happen. The sun fades the siding. There's wear and tear. If you put brand new siding next to old siding, you can kind of tell.
Yeah.
So he ended up having to get it fully replaced, and that's common because, again, righting the wrong, making you whole. Your house is not going to necessarily look so great if you only get part of the siding.
The patchwork done.
And that's a case-by-case scenario. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, if you have one shingle that's damaged, they're not going to come replace your roof. There's a way to patch that. But if it becomes apparent that they can't do that, dude, you were better when you were a puppy. Come on. So that's why he's mad because we were gone for a week.
Are you in positions sometimes where you don't renew?
You don't renew?
Yeah, where you say, we appreciate your business in the past, but we're not going to renew you.
So we honestly, as the insurance agent, do not really hold that
power.
We can relay information to the company and let them make that decision. And yes, we have done that. We've had to because we have a responsibility both to the insurance company and to the insurance person insured. And so it's really our responsibility to report information that is important to whether the policy remains in place or not.
Anything else going on before you take off?
No, I'm just so excited to get back to work. It was a great week with my brother-in-law, sister-in-law, and their 3 kids, and
their dogs.
Charlie's excited. Yeah, they're a 14-year-old, very mellow, non-barking dog.
Yeah.
But glad to be back.
You should have took him with you. Like, this is an example of a good dog.
Yeah.
Well, Sir Charles Barkley, a pleasure to have you back. And if you have any questions and you'd like to get in contact with Barrett Insurance Agency, Mike is always available for you if you just want to chat. And as is Charles.
Yeah.
You can buzz him up at the Barrett Insurance Agency at
748-5224. Visit our website at thebarrettagency.com. Check us out on Facebook, YouTube, and Google Plus at Barrett Insurance Agency. Dude, you're
doing that parent thing where you're starting to speed up. Like, I'm so embarrassed of my child. I got to get out of here. Okay.
Dogs bark, so I'm totally fine with that. But he's not normally a barker. It's just, he had the grandparents watching him for a week, so he's spoiled and acting out right now. Yeah.
All right. Thanks a lot, buddy. Good policies with Mike Barrett from Barrett Insurance Agency. We'll talk to you again next Hump Day.
See you later.